Hey, what's up? In this video, I'll show you how to design a flyer with Canva and how to generate a product image with generative AI. So stick around to the end because I'll be dropping some nuggets along the way. Let's get started. So with Canva open, head on to Create a Design. And then from there, click on Custom Size. From here, you can add your custom size, your width, your height, and change the units. In this case, we're going to change it to inches. And then I will make the width 4 inches and the height 6 inches. And then I'll hit Create a Design. And then from here, you can see our canvas has been created. And before we start designing, I'm going to really kind of plan this out and see how I want things laid out. So what we're going to want to do is I'm going to kind of sketch this out. I know I want to have my main image, product image, which is going to be a AI generated image of some iced coffee as the main focal point. This is going to be the main product you're selling. In this case, the iced coffee. So let me kind of just sketch this out really quick. Kind of add some ice cubes in there. Perfect. We're going to really sell it here. And then now I want to have some sort of element grounding the background. In this case, I'm just going to go with a little wavy line. And then from there, we're going to have our main headline, and then some body copy, and then a little CTA, which would just be the website. And that looks about right. And then we can just add the logo, or actually, you know what? Let's add a little element here off to the side, maybe with like a little coffee bean and some copy kind of just wrapping around it. That'll be a nice little cool element. And then we'll just add our logo here at the top, and that would complete the layout for this flyer. So let's start adding some elements. Here we're going to come to elements, and then I'm going to search. Let's do organic blob, just to kind of see what kind of cool elements we can get to add as our background. That will kind of just ground the main product image. And I'm kind of just scrolling through here. Some of these are premium options. If you have a premium account, by all means use these. In my case, I do not, so I think I might go with this one. That one's not really calling my attention. This one looks pretty simple. This one could possibly work. Okay, so just click it, add it into your artboard, and then let's see. I'm thinking maybe I can rotate it a little bit. For sure, we're going to increase it. And then I'll rotate it. That looks okay. Going to zoom out a little bit. And then do some more rotation. Just kind of feeling things out. Getting an idea where everything's going to kind of live. Doing a little rotation there. Okay, just bring it down a little bit. And then I think that's a good starting spot. Next, what I'm going to want to do is, you know what, let's change the color. So I'll come over here to the color. And then from here, I'll click on custom color. And then from here, you can kind of just choose whatever color you'd like. In my case, I already have a hex code added or in mind, so I'll just add that now. There we go. It's a nice vibrant orange. And now I think I can change the background color, and that'll really give us a good starting spot. I'm going to click on the background and then come up to the top, click on the custom color again over here, and then I'll add my hex code in right here. Perfect. Nice, really contrasting colors, but they work well together, so I think it'll work really well with the design. Okay, so next what we're going to want to do is let's add the logo in at the top. So I'll come to my uploads and then click on upload file, and then you'll just locate your file. In this case, I just kind of just skipped over it, but I'm going to just click it and add it to my artboard. And then what I want to do is add some margins. So I'll come to file settings and then click on show margins. And this will keep everything kind of contained in a nice little viewable area. So nothing's really kind of like spilling off of the final printed file. I'll reduce the logo just like that. Perfect. And that looks about right. Next, I'll come to File again, and then just turn off those margins. Make sure everything's hidden. Perfect. And then what I think I'll do now is add in the product image. So in my case, I've been using Microsoft's AI image generator. I think it's pretty good. It is free, and it's pretty flexible. So what you're going to want to do is just go to that website and then come into your size. Just kind of pick which orientation works best for you. In this case, I'm just going to go with the square. Actually, yeah, maybe let's go with the rectangle. There we go. And then from here, you'll add in the description. In my case, I'm going to add iced coffee in a glass on a white background. And then from there, I'll just come to generate. There we go. And then it's going to work its magic and produce what it thinks will look best. And in this case, yeah, it looks nice, but not what I'm looking for. I want it to be more simple and kind of just having the iced coffee head on. So I'm not going to bore you with this process here. I'm just going to kind of go through and just speed up. But essentially, I went through the same process, kind of editing and tweaking the description until I got something I liked, and which is the final image I have. So I'll just kind of click it and enlarge it, kind of putting it into place. There we go. Grabbing any of the 4 handles. And then I'm just going to kind of reduce the image box. There we go. And what I want to do now is I think I'm going to rotate the blob a little bit just to kind of see what we get. Now what I want to do is add a shadow. So I'll come to elements, and then there I'll search shadow. And then from here, we'll click on see all. And again, we have a whole bunch of premium options. So let's look for one that is free and that works well with my cup. Kind of just searching, scanning, seeing what works best. This one looks like it'll be pretty good. Okay, I'm going to just reduce the size and the position. And then I think I will couple that with another one, maybe a little bit darker, maybe a little bit wider. There you go. That could work. And then just reducing that a little bit as well. Perfect. Usually on a shadow, you'll have that darker spot right at the I guess where the main object is, and then as it gets further away, your shadows will get a little bit less. So to change the order, I'll just come to my layers or position and layers, and then you'll just adjust which layer you want behind or in front. And that looks about right. I'll then come to edit and then change the color to a duotone, and then just kind of picking one that works. We're going to change the colors anyways. And then I'll just copy or sample the color, the background color of that little blob, and then just darken it up, because shadows, kind of reflect or blend in darker with whatever object they're sitting on. So if you just kind of have a black shadow on like a colored background, it won't look as polished. You'll have that weird, it won't look 100% right. So changing those colors to whatever background it is, and then just making it darker, will give you a more polished look and feel. And that looks about right. There we go. Okay, so next up, we'll add in our headline. And to do that, I'll come to the text tool. And from here, you can see a whole bunch of just different font options, cool combinations. You can easily just kind of pick one of these and adjust it to fit your design. In my case, I'm not going to do that. I'll just come to add a heading. And then from there, I'll just adjust the position. That looks about right. Highlight it. And then I'll come to the fonts and then just kind of pick what I think would be best. Again, you have a whole bunch of options. And I think maybe this would work pretty well. Now I'll just double click it to edit the copy. And then I will add in my heading, take a break. That looks about right. And then I will just highlight it and then change the color, custom color. I'll just change it to white. That looks about right. And then I'll come back to margins to make sure we're in a safe area. Nothing's spilling out. And then just increase the font just a little bit. And then I will just remove the margins. Maybe I'll adjust the size of the image. There we go, just adjusting the size of it. I think I'll decrease it a little bit, maybe shove it up a little bit. And then bring the heading up a little bit as well. Making some small adjustments here and there to see what looks and feels best. And then bringing the blob down a little bit maybe, and then maybe rotating it just a bit up and pushing it up. There we go. You'll find that as you start designing more often, you'll start kind of making small minor tweaks like that, which all help towards the end result. So go ahead and make as much nudges and shifts as you have to. So now what I'll do is add the sub copy by coming to add body copy. And then I'll just put it underneath, adjusting the box, the text box. That looks about right. Highlighting it all and then changing it to, there we go, my copy, just plopping that in, and then changing it to left justified, which will then shove all the copy to the left side. Then I'll change the font like we did previously. I'll reduce, or I'll increase the font. And I think the font is a little bit too tight, so I'll come to spacing. And then from here, you can adjust the line spacing, the kerning really, if you will. And then I'll just kind of just slide that over to see what looks and feels best for the copy. There we go, it looks good. And then I'll just do the same for the CTA, which will be the website. There we go. Add in some copy. And then I'll just click it and drag it into position, making sure it's within the safe margin. And that looks good. And again, just making some adjustments as I move on to the next section. And then I'll just kind of shift some stuff around. Okay, great. Now let's add in a circle. There we go. Click on circle. Perfect. And then from there, I'll just kind of position it into place. I'll then change the outline, and then we'll put it to about 2 for now. And then I'll change the fill color to nothing. Perfect. And then I'll change the stroke line to white. And then just adjusting the size and again the placement, making sure it feels and looks proportioned to the overall design. And now I want to add some copy on the inside. So to do that, you're going to come to the text tool, add in your copy. In this case, I'll just type in ground fresh for a limited time. Highlight the whole thing. Change the font. And then I'll come to effects and then click on curved. And then what I'll do is just kind of curve this till it looks about right, making essentially a circle and fitting with inside of our circle outline. You'll have to adjust the font size and the spacing, or in the curve essentially, so it closes off exactly just like that. And then I'll just increase it, but then you can kind of see the font's a little bit too big, so you'll have to make some adjustments as you go. Reducing the size a little bit, see if that looks and feels better. And then I can kind of just change the spacing as well, the line spacing, to see if that works or makes any sort of change. And then I'll just reduce the curve again. Yeah, it feels a little bit better. And then what I want to do is change the outline of the main circle to that orange we have as the background. That looks cool. Next up, let's add in a new circle and then kind of just place that into the center and then just kind of adjust it so that the spacing on the top and the bottom of the copy in the center has like the same padding, the same space all around. And then I'll just change that one to white, and I will come to uploads, upload a custom bean that I found online, adjust the size just like that, placing it into the center, and then I'll change the color to orange as well. And then I'll just rotate it just like that. Perfect. And now that I'm looking at it, I think it's a little bit too large, so I want to reduce the size of it. So what I'll do is I will select all of the elements by coming to position and then just clicking and highlighting those elements, and then I'll group it so it's just easier to work with. And then I will just adjust the size and placement just like that. And then again, just making some small micro adjustments. Again, you'll notice as you start adding elements in, as you're progressing near the end of your design, you'll start making more and more fine tuning adjustments, stuff like that, just to make sure that your kind of overall aesthetic, your overall look and feel is true to your original design and just kind of works well with all the other elements going on in your design. And last but not least, what I want to do is add some sort of element in the background, some sort of shadow, some sort of something that will kind of just give this another little bit of a nice touch. So what I want to do now is add in some nice elements in the background to make the overall design look a little bit more interesting, a little bit more bohemian. So what I'm going to be doing is adding some gobos. Gobos are just some like really abstract shadows, or just, natural shadows you'll be seeing from like, trees, branches, stuff that will cast a nice, interesting shadow. And I've created a gobo package you can download in the description down below. So if you're interested in that, feel free to download that. And in this case, I'm going to be using one of or two of the gobos with inside of that package just to give this a nice little touch. So to do that, I'll come to uploads. There we go, uploading those files now. So in this case, I'm going to be going with the more out of focus palm frond as a base. Okay, and I'll put it into position, and I will change the color of the gobo just like we did for the shadow, and just select any of the duotones. That looks fine. And then I'll just click one of the colors, sample the background, second color, sample the background, and then just increase the darkness on one of those. That looks fine. And then I will just copy that hex code and paste it in the second color in the duotone. There we go. And then I'll just enlarge it and just kind of put it into place somewhere that looks fine. And then I'll just change the position and just throw it into the back. That looks good. Just making some more adjustments. And then I'll change the transparency to something really light, nothing too harsh. Maybe 41, maybe 40 is fine. And that is already adding some nice interest. And then what I'll do is I'll just add the more in focus gobo, repeat the process for the color of that element. There we go. And then I'll just increase it. Perfect. And then just kind of place it into the background and then just make some small fine-tune adjustments and rotations to see what feels good and natural, essentially. There we go. Just increasing it some more. I'm liking the position. That looks about right. And then I'll change the transparency as well, making this one a little bit darker. Just adding some nice layering to that background element. Maybe something like that's fine. And then I'll just change the position, throwing it to the back. And then just to speed things up, you can see that I made some more adjustments, some more fine tuning, just to get something I like. And that looks good. And the last thing I'm going to want to do is add some sort of grain or film grain to the overall design. That will add a nice texture to your elements, making it feel a little bit more tangible. So to do that, I'll come to my elements and then I'll search film grain. There we go. And then click on see all and you'll see a whole bunch of options again that are premium. In this case, I'm going to go with this one. Has a nice little variation in grain size. So I'll just click it and just adjust it to fill my whole canvas. And then I'll lower the opacity to around maybe 10, 20%, something along those lines. It adds a nice texture to your design and gives it that nice polished look. And that will do it for this video, my friends. I hope you found this video informative, interesting, and maybe you picked up a tip or two along the way. If you have any questions or comments, feel free to ask them in the description down below. I make it my goal each and every day to answer all your questions and provide as much support as I possibly can so you can succeed in Canva and in your design journey.